And welcome everybody to another edition of the GSMC Baseball Podcast brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. As always, I'm your host, Kenneth Grunfelder, and it's great to have everybody here on this Friday, December 22nd. We have a lot to talk about on the show today, but before I get into that, I just want to remind you guys, as always, to tip or donate and get your comments recognized, make sure to go to the following link. That is streamelements.com/gsmcsportsnetwork./tip. Again, that really helps the show, makes the show more interactive between myself, the host, and you guys, the viewers. Again, that is streamelements.com/gsmcsportsnetwork./tip. And as always, it is displayed on the ticker on the bottom of the show segment down below. So, with that being said, let's get right into what we were going to talk about. So, late last night, we got news that Yoshinobu Yamamoto, who was at this point the top free agent on the market with Ohtani off the board, we got news that he signed with, well, the team that Shohei Ohtani signed with, and that is the LA Dodgers. He is now going to be a part of that rotation, which they also added Tyler Glasnow, obviously. And, of course, Ohtani's not going to be pitching this year, but yeah, so he goes to the Dodgers, and the contract is, it's pretty significant, of course. It's for 10 years, $325 million. Yeah, I mean, it's just, it's crazy. Actually, 12 years, $325 million. And yeah, it is just, it's unbelievable that the Dodgers were able to pull this off. And you kind of figured they were still going. I mean, I'll be honest, I kind of thought they were out on him after they acquired Glasnow, but fortunately that wasn't the case because obviously the top two favorites going in, it seemed, were the Yankees and the Dodgers. And, there were teams that made offers. The Phillies were a team that made an offer. The Mets made an offer. The Yankees, I think, went to about $300 million. But that's as far as they went. The Mets, I think the Mets offered the same amount as the Dodgers. But, so the Mets, they offered $325 million. The Yankees offered $300 million. But obviously for Yamamoto, the Dodgers are on the West Coast. Ohtani's there because he did talk about how he still wants to play with, Japanese players, and obviously Ohtani just went there. So, that's where he's going. And so 12 years, not 10, 12 years, $325 million, and that he joins that rotation. With Tyler Glasnow, obviously, you got some other guys that are coming back from injuries. Walker Buehler, we'll see with him making a return. And we still don't know what the story is with Kershaw, because Kershaw wasn't 100% sure on, if he's coming back or not. And maybe with this move, that kind of shows you that, maybe he isn't, but who knows? I mean, I think, with what the team is right now, I mean, I feel like Kershaw probably would want to come back because of how loaded the roster is, So, and I just realized I didn't get into what else we were going to talk about. So along with this, as we continue our discussion here, we're just going to talk about like other MLB news, other offseason news. We'll get into, who's the top remaining free agents. We'll talk about that, and then we'll get into just going over the biggest, contracts in MLB history. So that'll be the final part of the show, because Ohtani and Yamamoto's contracts are in there, of course. So that's what the rest of the show is going to be about. But yeah, so Yamamoto's off the market. With the Yankees, they really tried. The Met, and as well as the Mets. I mean, Yamamoto met with them twice. The Yankees, they gave Yamamoto his own Yankee jersey because they designated 18 for him, and they gave it to him. And even if he didn't sign with them, the Yankees were like, keep the jersey. So that's what ended up happening. So he gets a free Yankee jersey that he could put, in his wherever he's staying, and at home, whether it's I guess when he goes back to Japan, that's what he'll do. He'll frame it, put it somewhere. But I mean, for me as a Yankee fan, I'm not. There's definitely a lot of people that are upset, and I understand. I mean, I just from a Yankee perspective, for me personally, I think, well, they still got they got to figure something out now. They got to move to Plan B now that he's with the Dodgers. But for me, this opens up the door for them to give Juan Soto a lot of money in the offseason. Because for me, if you bring in Yamamoto, you're probably not getting Soto back. Like, you probably have no chance. And now, you don't get Yamamoto. Well, you could take all that money you would have gave to Yamamoto and give it to Juan Soto. So, Yankees got some work they got to do with the rotation and the bullpen. So hopefully they can get that done. But that's my opinion on it. Now, for baseball as a whole, it's not good because, they go and get Ohtani, and what they did with Ohtani's contract, myself included, I'm not happy about it. Nobody's happy about it. I wouldn't want my own team doing that either, because it's just not fair. But I know it's coming from a Yankee fan, but still, like, it's not fair for the other teams. But if it's completely legal, then there's really nothing you can do about it. So, I think it is ridiculous that you're going to have Ohtani making $2 million for 10 years, $2 million each year for the next 10 years, and then the remaining $680 million he's going to get paid once he retires. Because that opens the door for the Dodgers to do whatever they want. I mean, they got Mookie Betts, they got Freddie Freeman. I mean, now you sign Yamamoto. You just gave Glasnow the extension when you acquired him. I mean, they're printing money right now, essentially. So, you're talking about who the Yankees returning to the evil empire, getting Soto. Well, I think the evil empire is out in L.A. right now, because what they're doing is, to go along with Ohtani's contract, it's unprecedented, So, but yeah, with Yamamoto now off the books, I mean, now that's kind of going to get the market to move a little bit here with, some of these other free agent pitchers that are out there, Montgomery, Blake Snell, who we'll talk about later in the show. But, yeah, I mean, I'm not as disappointed as I think a lot of Yankee fans are with, us being the other top team that was in on him. Because I feel like there's other things that they can do. They could trade for pitchers, So, and again, I want to keep Juan Soto long term. So I want that money to be given to him, after this year, because right now he's just a 1-year rental. So, if the Yankees go out and have a good season, and he has a good season, then maybe we got a good chance of getting him back. So, but if we got Yamamoto, I'd be really excited. But and at the same time, we would only have Soto for 1 year. But now we have a chance to maybe keep him long term, because we're not giving that money to Yamamoto. So, but yeah, I mean, you feel bad for the smaller market teams. It's just like, for some people, they're going to be like, well, what's even the point of playing next year? Well, at the same time, too, is, you see what people are saying on social media. Well, the Dodgers are going to go to the playoffs, and they're going to find a way to lose. Yeah, because that's what's happened. I mean, the team they had a couple of years ago that lost to the Padres, I mean, that team could have been the team that went all the way. The year before that, you trade for Scherzer, you trade for Trey Turner, you lose to the Braves. So, listen, they got Ohtani now. You bring in Yamamoto, Glasnow. Yeah, listen, this team is going to win over 100 games if everything goes right. This team has the potential to break the single season, win total with the roster that they have. But, again, we'll just have to wait and see. It's a long season. Anything can happen. And the other thing, too, is, like people are saying, Yamamoto hasn't pitched a single inning yet in the majors, and he got all that money. And listen, we've seen a lot of Japanese players come over and be successful. And I expect him to do the same. I mean, the guy won 3 MVPs in Japan. I mean, he should be good. He should be good here. I mean, Ohtani turned out, I would say Ohtani turned out okay. Matsui, Tanaka, Ichiro, those guys turned out okay. So, I mean, he's probably going to be the latest, Japanese player to find success here in the major leagues. So, but yeah, for my Met fan friends, I feel bad because, they're going to see him at least twice a year. We'll probably Yankees will probably see him when the Dodgers come to Yankee Stadium in 2024, because I believe, they're going to be coming to Yankee Stadium. Well, because now everybody's playing each other every year. But I know people are. I know on the Yes Network, John Flaherty said he thinks that it's going to be a Yankees-Dodgers World Series. I mean, I think the Dodgers will get there maybe, but not. I don't know about the Yankees right now because the Yankees still got a lot of holes in their pitching. But listen, I've been talking about for weeks how, we're waiting for, these moves to be made, and finally we got that. Ohtani's off the board, Yamamoto's off the board, Soto's been traded. So now we'll see where the rest of these free agents end up going. So, but, I think people are hoping that it wasn't going to be the Dodgers. I mean, I knew they were still in on him, but I was kind of hoping with them getting Glasnow that maybe they weren't going to, but, I was wrong, unfortunately. But listen, the rotation was a weakness for the Dodgers last year. I mean, that's why they got swept by the Diamondbacks. So they kind of fixed that. I mean, I don't know what the latest is on Walker Buehler, but you get him back too to go along with that rotation. We'll see. We'll see what happens. But, so another big free agent off the market. But let me know what you guys think about the deal. Yamamoto going to the Dodgers. I know, again, not a lot of people are happy today. I mean, listen, I'm not too thrilled about it with what the Dodgers are doing, but again, being a Yankee fan, what can I say? But again, you don't want to see your own team doing that. Like, again, I wouldn't want to see the Yankees doing that because it's, again, not fair, but it is what it is at this point. So, so that's pretty much it when talking about Yamamoto. Again, let me know what you guys think about the deal. And when we come back from our first break of the show, we're just going to go through some of the latest news, the other off-season news. There's actually going to be some rule changes for next year regarding the pitch clock and other stuff. So we'll get into that as well when we come back from our first break of the show. So with that being said, stick around, and we'll be right back here on the GSMC Baseball Podcast.